एवढ्या प्रचंड बहुमताने, म्हणजे मी तर जसा राजकारणात आलोय तसं 222 आणि 225 महायुतीला किंवा कुठल्याही आघाडीला महाराष्ट्रामध्ये तरी कधी असं यश मिळालेलं माझ्या तरी पाण्यात नाही, माझ्या तरी ऐकवत नाही.
महाराष्ट्राच्या जनतेसमोर आम्ही नतमस्तक आहोत. जनतेने ज्या प्रकारचा विजय दिलेला आहे, खऱ्या अर्थानं हा विजय एक प्रकारे आमची जबाबदारी वाढवणारा विजय आहे.
आम्ही म्हणालो कॉमन मॅन. आता कॉमन मॅनने आम्ही ठरवलंय की त्यांच्या जीवनामध्ये काही बदल घडवून चांगले दिवस आणून त्याला सुपरमॅन करायचं. पण त्यांनी आम्हाला या निवडणुकीत सुपरमॅन सारखं काम करून दाखवलं.
So in Maharashtra, it's a case of the winner takes it all. The Mahayuti, the BJP-Shiv Sena and NCP combined returned to form government with a whopping 230 MLAs in the 288 strong assembly. The Maha Vikas Aaghadi parties have been reduced to 46 MLAs. Stupendous, unbelievable, tsunami, landslide, mammoth are just some of the adjectives that are being used to describe the scale of this victory. Here are some of the things that I'm picking up. For the third time in a row, the BJP emerges as Maharashtra's largest, most favored party. With 132 seats dotted across the state, it has turned in its best performance ever. Eknath Shinde and Ajit Pawar had wrested the party name and symbol with some help from the BJP, the Election Commission and the Supreme Court. Now they have the people's seal of approval as well. The Ladki Bahin welfare scheme has won hearts and votes, and it will have long-term consequences not just for the state but the way India conducts its politics and governance. Ek hai to safe hai, Prime Minister Modi's clarion call on the campaign trail in tandem with groundwork by the RSS in galvanizing voters on religious lines played a big factor in the BJP sweep, and a lot of interesting details are emerging. In Mumbai as well, BJP has taken the lion's share with 15 out of the 36 assembly seats available between the city and the suburbs, followed by the Shiv Sena UBT. The civic elections or the municipal elections going forward will be really hotly contested, and it's advantage BJP at this point. Issues raised by the opposition parties or the MVA of Maharashtra being shortchanged by Gujarat, crony capitalism, farmer distress, and women's security issues did not seem to connect. The massive mandate should be read as a deep desire also for political stability in a state that has seen a complete mess and breakdown of party politics in the past 5 years. So we are going to be discussing the Maharashtra verdict for some time to come, and in the days ahead, a lot more granular research as well as ground reportage will be emerging. But today, we are going to take a look at the big picture and also some of the allegations raised by the losing parties about different types of electoral fraud. How do we process that, as well as the big picture of what the verdict has thrown up? Girish Kuber is the editor of one of Maharashtra's oldest newspapers, Loksatta, and he has talked about 3 C's in his first initial analysis of the results. To find out what these 3 C's stand for, also to dig deeper, I'm delighted to be joined by Girish. Girish, 3 C's, before you spell out your 3 C's, how surprised are you by the scale of this verdict?
Yeah, to be honest, extremely surprised, rather stunned by the size of the outcome. We all were expecting it will be some kind of an edge to the ruling alliance because of various reasons, but the size is really overwhelming. And what is really surprising, it was not a wave on the ground. And even during the 2014 Narendra Modi wave, even then also the kind of mandate Saffron Alliance has received this time, it was much smaller even then. So this makes it more to understand, more complex to understand what exactly has happened and how it happened, why it happened. Like any other election, we have to analyze, and this time there is too much to analyze actually.
But let's go through the 3 C's. You want to take us through the first C, cash?
Yeah, I mean, before we discuss the 3 C's, this is the flavor of the season. You have to have 5 T's, 9 so this is something is in vogue.
In
So I
vogue.
thought, let's do that way.
Sure.
Yeah, cash. So cash has two kind of dimension. First is the official scheme. And obviously we can talk about the official part of it. 1,500, which was announced by the ruling alliance just ahead of election. And what they did smartly, and basically again thanks to the election commission, which actually delayed the election and gave enough time for the ruling alliance to spread the cash word. So the 4-5 installments were paid, and some of them were in advance up to December, including Diwali bonus. So this comes to something like minimum 7,500 to Bahena, Ladli Bahena. And before the scheme could take off, initially government had a very strict rules and regulations and criteria who is eligible. But as the election, it realized it's going to go, it's not very easy. It diluted the requirement or the criteria to an extent that eventually to be a woman, that itself was sufficient.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So cash rollout was huge, something like 46,000 crore burden on the exchequer. And what it did, that followed it up with Diwali bonus and something like that, it promised to raise it to 2,100. So 2,100 for you and me and those urban people living and enjoying malls and all that, it's not exactly a attractive proposition. But those who are working in farms, where daily wages or something, earning 10, 15K, it's a huge thing. So what government smartly did that, it said you will receive 25,000 rupees next year. So 2,100 into 12. So that is definitely attractive sum, for poor, and it worked.
Out of the few schemes that were quickly implemented, including the promise of additional 3,000 rupees for that PM Kisan that they give, you're saying Ladki Bahin is the reason in terms of the cash part of it. This is where the trump card has been.
Correct. And it was evident on the voting day, women in very festive attire, standing in queues for that, and that has shown in Maharashtra's electoral history for the first time, though Maharashtra is described as a very progressive and blah 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 state, but women voting was always less than men in the past. But this election has to, it's something like exception to the history. For the first time, women voted more than men this time. And there are 15 constituencies where women voting is more than men. When overall women percentage has gone up by 1.5% or so, but 15 constituencies, it's much larger. Out of those 15, 12 are with the Saffron Alliance. So you can imagine the magic of this Ladki Bahin.
So this is the formal cash dole handed out directly to beneficiaries by the government.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the informal cash. Would this election have seen unprecedented amounts of money power? Anecdotally, I am aware of people who I have met, who I know, who were bused to nearby villages and 1,200 rupees on their return after pressing a certain, symbol. So the question is that the money power, which is present in all Indian elections, in this Maharashtra 2024, was it at unprecedented levels as well?
I think unprecedented will be an understatement, in 10-day window from Diwali onwards, when actual electioneering and politicking began, something like 305 crores of rupees in cash.
Yeah.
In cash was confiscated.
Confiscated by the EC.
Yeah. And at various district levels, and what went unnoticed, or what must have went unnoticed, obviously there is no, you can't quote what exactly it could be. But just a day before election, what happened in Vasai, where a BJP leader was seen distributing, or at least accused of
10 lakhs.
Yeah, so you can imagine, and this actually nothing to do with this discussion today, but this also raises question about the effectiveness of what happened to the basically what like that great economic move, demonetization.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Makes a
and
mockery of it completely.
absolutely. Yeah, this is scary thing, and see, another pattern one can look at it is that, similarly, like Maharashtra, Jharkhand also went to polls, and there also the incumbent got re-elected. Again, the pattern is same. He also had Ladli Bahina, Ladli Maiya wahan pe, but the cash rollout is the same, and this makes opposition puts at very disadvantageous position, because the cash ruling alliance can dispense, and obviously availability of funds with the opposition, that actually skews, it's very skewed. The balance is, it's very serious. In the long term, it will be a real issue for all political parties.
And for democracy, therefore.
Yeah, democracy at large, because if ruling parties can go on distributing cash in this way, where Maharashtra government will have something like 60,000 crore rupee hole only because of Ladli Baina, and no way to plug that kind of a damage, because it's already 1 lakh crore deficit state is witnessing. You have 1 lakh crores of schemes announced during elections.
Yeah.
So just imagine the kind of, and this is, and again, the contradiction is that these are the things Prime Minister called them revdi, and he was the one to say that revdi shouldn't be part of the electioneering, but exactly that thing happened.
Right. Let's move on to the second C, which is caste. In October, you wrote, the forthcoming assembly elections will test all these innovative ways of fighting political battles with social engineering.
Yeah.
And you're attributing this very skillful social engineering as a reason for the Mahayuti's victory.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, and I also want to add on to that. Why did that social engineering not manage to come good just 5 months, 6 months ago during the Lok Sabha elections?
Correct.
Dalits and Muslims seem to have consolidated.
See, the largest social group in Maharashtra is Maratha, something like 30 to 33%. And to counter that thing, there are OBCs, but OBCs, it's not one. There are 30, 35, 36 OBCs, different small groups. So BJP, what it did in 1980s, there was a organizing secretary. Organizing secretary is the person who is lent to BJP from the RSS. He was a real strategist. His name is Vasantrao Bhagwat. He passed away. So he devised a formula called Madhav. Madhav is an abbreviation of Mali, Dhangar and Vanzaris. So these three OBCs were brought to the BJP fold. From there onwards, you can see even at the national level, the same formula was applied. Rise of likes of Narendra Modi, Kalyan Singh, Uma Bharti, Gopinath Munde, all OBCs. So what currently Maharashtra government, actually, the Saffron Alliance did was that to win over Marathas, because Maharashtra has a combination of DMK, again an abbreviation, Dalit, Muslims and Kunbis. Kunbis is the largest part of Marathas. In some section they are called Kunbis, in other areas they are called Marathas. So to break that mold, ahead of 2019 election, Devendra Fadnavis came out with a kind of a strategy to announce Maratha reservation.
Yes.
It backfired. Next 4 years, he was not in power, but whichever party was ruling, especially Uddhav Thackeray and all, they couldn't get it approved from the court. Yeah. So that issue became a boiling point when this government also came took over, and there was a character called Manoj Zarange Patil. Even entire Jalna district wasn't aware of who this great Maratha warrior was, But then he took this initiative and did fast and all that. That part of it. So to counter that, Maharashtra Maratha mobilization by the Congress, which worked in parliamentary elections, just after parliamentary election, BJP realized this is going to boomerang. So what they did, and this is really something like other parties need to learn, the back end operation. In between June 4th, results were out. So you can imagine how much time it must have taken to organize and plan this strategy. Till Maharashtra elections were announced, BJP leadership organized something like 330 meetings all over Maharashtra with different OBC groups. So I mean, such was the planning. And the small OBC groups in 30 splintered kind of social sectors. They were addressed. They were leaders were sent to them. They were organized, and in some cases, to pamper them, Devendra Fadnavis, who was part of the government, he announced. I mean, kind of a simple thing like ladies' hostel in district places for some small community. But the message was huge. And along with that, it kept announcing corporation after corporation for various social groups. So I mean, to an extent, even the corporation actually is the idea where poor and those who are left behind to bring them up. It's something the government corporations are formed with, But this time, even the corporation for Jain community was also formed. BJP was so, scared of vote splitting. So something like 19 corporations were planned in the last couple of months.
This was done, Girish, just to address specific small communities and ensure that they knew that the government or represented by these parties was going to look after their welfare in some form or the other.
And this was only ego massaging for any of those 19 corporations. Not a single rupee was allocated. But message sent out. There are various communities. There is some corporation is being formed,
Right.
And it really worked. Except Brahmins, corporations were formed for every other community. So this created a kind of a invisible support base for the BJP, which eventually turned decisive against Marathas. So what is the taste of the, as they say, pudding in Marathwada, where Maratha organizations and Maratha lobbying was very solid against the BJP. Yuti swept the poll. So in Marathwada, which was the hotbed of Maratha agitation. So this is about the second C, And along with that, it came out just 48 hours before election. It issued a notification for sub-classification of SCs. It needs a little bit of political understanding. What does this mean? So there are two types of Dalits. One is obviously Hindu Dalit.
Yeah.
Bauddha Dalit. So all Dalits were seen in one basket, which was seen supporting the Congress, basically Congress or NCP or whatever.
Yeah.
What, thanks to Supreme Court judgment in a different case, Maharashtra government came out with a notification for sub-classification of these categories, SC categories. So those were divided on religious lines, and Hindu Dalits and Bauddha Dalits, it ensured they are separated. Message is sent out, and the strongest messenger was none other than Prakash Ambedkar, who actually canvassed for this sub-classification. And it has resulted, and you can see it from the size of the mandate. This actually went in favor of the Saffron Alliance. So OBCs, along with the sub-classification, this is second C.
Right. Let's talk about the third C, which is which then became the final,
nail, we can say.
Final nail, yes. Or the final six, let's say the winning six.
So, it's a two-pronged kind of a strategy, two-way strategy. From bottom, BJP kept on addressing the small community-related issues, caste-related issues, to top it up. Because these issues have no resonance in cities like Mumbai, Pune, Thane. These are purely rural and less, what you can say, basically poor people, those who are get impacted by these issues. So for city folks, there was Yogi Adityanath coming out and batenge to katenge kind of.
And then Prime Minister's ek hai to safe hai.
So this all works.
That is at the umbrella level.
Yeah.
And then at the ground level, Girish, I'm reading reports about, how the RSS got into action and activated Varkaris and, Kirtankars. What is your analysis on that count?
If these three C's are to be made effective, there should have been a stronger kind of an electoral mechanism, which
Hmm.
Congress historically lacked.
Hmm.
Shiv Sena had it, but with the exit of Eknath Shinde, Shiv Sena also is deployed of such kind of a cadre which goes to house, and bring people out. This role was performed by the BJP. And the message sent out was that this time it's going to be BJP Chief Minister. We all have to work together. So please come and vote. And to whom to be voted, that's quite clear. So the last mile connectivity, which is very important in electoral and especially election day management, that was happily provided by the RSS. And
So,
yeah.
why did they seem to hold back during the Lok Sabha election, and why did they come full on out now? Is it fair to say that they were trying to send a message in some power game
Correct. Yeah.
in the previous election, and in this one they said, okay, message has been received, and we have a larger civilizational project at hand, and we can't afford to lose Maharashtra.
So one line answer is just to send out the message, who is the boss? Nothing less, nothing more.
So, are you saying that this election, the Maharashtra verdict, and the way it was won, it gives out a message that the RSS is the boss in the equation in the
Correct.
Sangh Parivar
Correct.
and the BJP?
If you may recall, ahead of parliament elections, JP Nadda,
Yeah.
Nadda, BJP president, went to the extent of saying that we have grown so big now, we don't need RSS.
Yes, yes.
And knowing Nadda's political standing in the entire BJP, it's difficult to believe that this was Nadda's statement. So the message was out. We don't need you, and it's seen in the parliament election outcome. So then afterwards, the corrective mechanism where Mohan Rao Bhagwat, Nanandar, then RSS chief, hinted what exactly is wrong. His statement that nobody should think that he is a god and all that, And then BJP, realized what went wrong and the patch up and kind of a surrender. And this resulted in RSS activating its cadres.
And so the RSS is boss.
RSS is the boss. This is loud and clear. That issue has been solved. No Nadda or no one will ever say that we don't need RSS. And it's not only one election. Look at Haryana.
Yes.
Yeah, Haryana, again, RSS was very active. It's not only the BJP. BJP is very much there. Even parliament election, they were there. But the way RSS was, it is like cold shoulder, They were just, okay, dekh lo aap. But now they have shown who is the boss.
Let's talk about Eknath Shinde, because there was a feeling that this whole thing of who is the real Shiv Sena, and time and you have spoken to me in the past about it, and there seemed to be a sense that Uddhav Thackeray is the real Shiv Sena, and Mr. Eknath Shinde has been getting a lot of help between the ruling party and the ECI, the court. But the fact is, today when you look at this public verdict, is this then settled forever that the Shiv Sena is Eknath Shinde today and he is the real inheritor of this party?
No.
You're still saying no. You're still saying no.
Yeah. Why I'll explain, Eknath Shinde's success, it was more than BJP's need than Shinde's. One has to understand. And the moment he loses his grip on chief ministership, you can see the downfall of his so-called Shiv Sena. So Shiv Sena and Thackeray's, one can't take it. You can take that away, even if someone wants to do it. So Shinde was used as a weapon to basically hit at Thackeray's, like Ajit Pawar was for. Yeah. So that purpose has been solved. The purpose has been now it's no longer needed for the BJP now. So see, he was the chief minister. He was the face of the government. The way he had to surrender yesterday, that I'm giving up, and it's.
I will not aspire to be chief minister. I will take the BJP's decision.
Yeah. So he could fortify his group because of his chief ministership. The moment his chief ministerial cover is gone, he stands exposed. Number one. Number two, but still BJP will have to have him on its side because BMC elections are around the corner. Other areas. Till they actually knock off Shiv Sena completely from the political scene, they will have Eknath Shinde on their side. But the Shiv Sena, and I will not be surprised, even the Supreme Court case goes against Eknath Shinde in future. We can't do expect, or we can't predict the outcome. But the way state was pursuing that case and the way it was handled, BJP won't need it now. So Eknath Shinde, what happened to Uddhav Thackeray in 2022 June will happen to Eknath Shinde. It's just a matter of time. So the Shiv Sena, in whichever delicate state it survives, it will continue to be with Thackeray's. That's what something he has inherited. This is electoral victory, but electoral victory doesn't say anything about the veracity, or it doesn't confirm the party genes, the Thackeray genes. Eknath Shinde is a facade, yeah.
You don't think that the way this electoral verdict is that people in the way they have voted have chosen Eknath Shinde as the true Shiv Sena? Is that a superficial reading on my part?
It is, I mean, kind of a superficial reading, because verdict was not for Eknath Shinde.
Sure.
Verdict was for the Saffron Alliance. BJP
Right.
used it, and the way BJP structured it, it ensured that Eknath Shinde doesn't become a decisive kind of a force post-election.
Right.
So Eknath Shinde doesn't have a kind of a now he obviously no one can take away from him the ex-chief minister thing, but the what it takes to lead a Sena, the moment he is out of, see, Eknath Shinde never contested election as a leader of a party. For the first time he did that, and after that contest, he has to become a deputy CM. So it all makes difference, because there is nothing like deputy CM. It's just one of the ministers, it doesn't have a very constitutional value. So he could have his entire government machinery circle and protect the faction, whatever he was leading. He no longer can do it.
Quick word on Ajit Pawar, who seemed very diminished after Lok Sabha election, but now has emerged again as somebody, who has held his own, if not, and will be vital to counter Shiv Sena maybe.
See, on this issue, we have to look at what happened to Akali Dal in Punjab. We have to look at what Assam Gana Parishad, its fate in Assam, or Biju Janata Dal in Orissa, or Maharashtra Gomantak Party in Goa. They all were initially BJP's allies, So
Yeah.
BJP first finishes it. It's always better to be BJP's rival than friend, to put it simply, So Ajit Pawar will have to hang on whatever is being offered to him, because thanks to ED,
Yeah.
the central agencies. So there is not much any.
So Girish, am I to understand that this astounding victory is largely called, the BJP has called the shots, and the other two parties, its allies, have ridden that planning,
Correct.
that resource availability, etc.
So they were like what do you call, side stories of the
Got it.
election.
They were hanging on to the BJP's
Yeah.
tails in this verdict.
And they were compelled not for any electoral choice or the federalist thought
Sure,
and all that. It was survival.
sure.
It is Eknath Shinde, and similarly is the story of Ajit Pawar.
Right. So let's talk about the losing parties now, Girish. Why did the MVA not manage to connect after the kind of success that they saw? I'm hearing words like complacency, no
Yeah.
plan, all of that. But can it just be that? What happened? I mean, I did hear lots of speeches on the campaign trail by the various, Mallikarjun Kharge came many times. Congress chief ministers from other states came and talked about what was possible. Mr. Thackeray was at all his rallies talking about Marathi pride. He was talking about being betrayed. There were so many. He said, is this the land of, Phule and Shah Maharaj and Ambedkar, or is it of Modi, Shah and Adani, right? That's the kind of thing he was doing. It has not connected. And then there were, of course, the more substantial governance issues of inflation, farmer distress prices, women's security. Between these two, the emotive issues and the governance issues, MVA did not seem to manage to capture anybody's imagination.
Correct.
That.
Yeah. Even between these 2-3 months also I had written and said, see, Adani and Dharavi are the issues people have no resonance with.
At all.
At all. Corruption becomes an issue when it hits your pocket. So corruption in some invisible area or in a very
It's abstract.
yeah, it is absolute abstract as long as unless it hits you. So success of the corruption issue can be cited in what happened between 2012 and 2014. BJP successfully linked that corruption or alleged corruption to the
But that was a notional loss that they
Yeah.
managed to.
But what worked? The inflation part. ये महंगाई हो रही है because of corruption.
So why did Mehengai not work in? Because we heard many ground reports where people were actually saying, "Good, we are getting this money as women,"
Yeah.
but the inflation is so high that it's not really helpful.
Yeah, but this is exactly the cash rollout comes into the picture. So ego massaging on community caste basis and giving you something in hand, you know. I mean, good or bad, we can argue, but it worked.
Sure.
That has really worked. So
why did the MBA fail?
Yeah, so Adani and Gaddar Shinde maybe to Thakre's on family relationship basis.
Sure.
He hasn't been Gaddar to larger audience of Maharashtra. I mean, there is nothing like they should be complaining about because he's doing whatever he could do. Number one. Number two, the word you use, complacent, that's absolutely correct. Congress thought it is given now. Actually, Haryana outcome was a warning. How caste combinations can be worked at, you know? I mean, how you can manage or strengthen your connect with various caste combinations. Congress didn't do that. And like say Rahul Gandhi, for that matter, Maharashtra is such a crucial state. Obviously, it was important for him. His sister was contesting in Wayanad. Entire Congress top brass was bothered about Wayanad more than Maharashtra. Rahul Gandhi had just only 4 rallies. Can you believe this? In the state which sent something like 48 MPs. So Congress classically is a case which can bring out defeat from the jaws of victory. You know. So this is the perfect example. It didn't work. And see. Theoretically, we may think of India, Aaghadi and all that. But till now, as we speak, there is no common minimum program even in Aaghadi.
But they did release a common manifesto.
Common manifesto just ahead of election. Manifesto doesn't have anything. So what one should be doing, what one shouldn't be. So there is nothing.
Okay, I got it.
So then, even today, even after parliamentary elections, and actually, my problem with Congress is that Congress is assuming that the outcome of the parliamentary election is something like it's victory for them. I mean, they're just 100. So this all was out in the play. And the third and fourth point, I argued with this with Mr. Singhvi also. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Congress spokesperson, Congress leaders, after attending few of the, I mean, the Samvidhan can't be the issue in state assembly election. It had no resonance, no connect.
But very interestingly, Prime Minister Modi in all his speeches brought up the fact that in Jammu and Kashmir, it had its own constitution, and it's only after Article 370 was read down, etc., that the Indian constitution is now being used in Jammu and Kashmir. So what I'm trying to get at is they use the same idea of the constitution in a different manner. So then why would you say that the constitution idea doesn't resonate?
The Modi's part first, it's there in the larger story of Ek Hai To Safe Hai.
Got it. Okay.
So why Jammu is safe? Because now we are Ek. Yeah. We have one constitution. And here, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was trying to raise kind of feelings on constitution. Samvidhan khatre mein hai. I mean, that's okay in parliament. You can't resell the product which is already tested the success or whatever it is, you know. So they try to do it again in parliament, state elections. They try to do it in Haryana. They did in Maharashtra also. Now is the lesson. You have to have local issues. And the fourth and most important reason is that Congress and Shiv Sena, the public kind of arguments and spat between the two parties, it was shameful for someone who is aspiring to lead Maharashtra. I mean, to an extent that on the day of the voting, Shiv Sainiks led agitations against Congress in Solapur. So what message are you sending out? So, I mean, people are not, you can't take them for granted, you know. So, Alliance would have had to work really hard to cement their differences. There has to be some kind of a glue, some kind of a working mechanism, somebody from Delhi hand-holding them. Except Sharad Pawar, nobody worked from Congress and Shiv Sena the way they should have, you know.
Why did Sharad Pawar's party do poorly?
This is something. If if one wishes to use farce and a tragedy, you can say Uddhav Thackeray's whatever happened is a farce and Sharad Pawar is a tragedy. This is something really sad for the octogenarian leader, you know. And the way he addressed, the way he worked, something like at the age of 84, he was, 100 rallies. It's something he really put in every possible effort.
The interview that Ajit Pawar gave to Srinivasan Jain, where he mentioned that Mr. Pawar Senior was at the meeting, the first meeting, and Mr. Adani was also there. Did that cause any? Was that just a media thing, or did that matter to people on the ground?
No, this is basically overall strategy. How Sharad Pawar was also on our side, and how he distressed and how he changed his mind. But Sharad Pawar's one statement, according to me, which actually let his party down, was, you have to have 1+1 to it. His statement that this is my last election, and Ajit Pawar picking up saying that from here onwards, I will be the one leading Baramati. So you have to come to me, you know. So messaging this time wasn't the way it should have been, you know, from Sharad Pawar. And this is something it's very rare of the old man, you know. He is very connected, glued, and rooted, you know. But this messaging, I find, he shouldn't have said that, you know.
But given how canny he is, and the credit you give him for his, grassroots connect and just his acumen, political acumen, do you think this is a casual mistake?
I don't think so. See, there are 2-3 politicians in India. I never believe that they can make any casual statement. Lal Krishna Advani, Sharad Pawar, Pramod Mahajan, there has to be some kind of a thought. He might have thought that this could bring in some kind of an emotional connect, you know. So this is the last election, and you should be voting for me. But actually, it boomerang, because the very next moment, Ajit Pawar said that from here onwards, Baramati will be led by me. You all will have to come to me, because,
Girish, what I find interesting is that, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, the great betrayal by Mr. Shinde, Sharad Pawar and the great betrayal, I find that the media fraternity has a lot of sympathy, whereas the public seems to be quite emotionless, where if you go just by the mandate.
Yeah, it is emotionless, and that's good, actually. Media, obviously, no one is unbiased. Unbiased can only be the dead body, you know.
Sure.
But here, the problem was that their personal betrayal, they tried to sell it as a betrayal of the state.
Which didn't matter to the people.
Correct. Which didn't work for the people. Why it should? And that was the message. Even in the last phase, which was completely unlike of Mr. Pawar, he also used the word Gaddar.
Yeah.
Pawar is not a person who will be using such kind of a language, you know. Gaddar suits Uddhav Thackeray, not Pawar. But he used the word Gaddar. And eventually it was a family feud. Why others should bother about?
Let's look at the future. Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, for all practical purposes, is absolutely confirmed to lead the state again. His what is the agenda he should prioritize? Because if you go by the manifesto, then it says $1 trillion. Don't laugh, Girish. $1 trillion economy by 2028. It also talks about the fact that there will be a 100-day vision plan, which will be within 100 days, a vision plan will be announced for the 5 years. And then there is, of course, law against religious conversion and all of those things. So what is the 5 years that you're looking at?
See,
and a word about Devendra Fadnavis to begin with.
Yeah. Fadnavis will have friction from 3 ends. One is obviously Eknath Shinde, Ajit Pawar. They are not going to make his life any easier. At least Shinde faction. number one. Number two, economic challenge, which is much bigger than political victory. It's a serious for Maharashtra, which is gone to number 9 in the GDP.
You've spoken about it in the
Yeah.
past. Yeah.
And in the third one, he will have to smart sell himself within the party, which he found extremely difficult. I tell you what I mean. In 2019, Maharashtra and Haryana went to polls simultaneously. Verdict was the same. Haryana, BJP emerged as single largest party. Maharashtra, BJP emerged as single largest party. In Haryana, none other than Amit Shah camped there in Chandigarh to ensure Jod Tod and defections. Dushyanta Chautala's party was brought in, and he ensured that government is formed. Similarly, for a month or so, nobody bothered about Maharashtra. And why so? I mean, on paper, there is no reason. No one will say anything on that. But the real reason behind the story was that it would have been second successive victory for Devendra Fadnavis. So, not a single phone call was made to Uddhav Thackeray from the central leadership. Had it been the case, Uddhav would have been what was needed. Giving him some kind of an importance, and it didn't happen. And it happened the way Congress, NCP, and Uddhav Thackeray joined hands to. Basically, that was not more of a Devendra Fadnavis's defeat than a victory for them. So Devendra Fadnavis, what was wrong? Why it happened? There was a slogan given in 2019 election. A small coterie of Devendra Fadnavis's supporters. It came out with a slogan, Devendra after Narendra. So that was something. See, BJP at the national level is exactly like what Congress was. No one should challenge the family. So there was an internal struggle within the party, and Devendra Fadnavis was left.
Shown his place in a way, cut down to size.
Correct. And now again, the man is changed, the party is changed. So he will have to prove within the party also that he has learned lesson. So three-way struggle for Devendra Fadnavis, something which is going to be out in the open soon. As we speak, the official announcement is yet to be made.
So what do we expect as people in Maharashtra, and with this kind of verdict that has been given to them, what should one expect going forward? Because in the last conversation that we had, you talked about how if you remove Mumbai from Maharashtra,
Correct.
the rest of the state is no better than Bihar or Odisha. You talked
Correct.
about per capita income, how it's down in the top 10. You talked about state GDP and where it is at. You also mentioned deficit. So what are we looking? What should Maharashtrians look for from this government? And you've also told me in the past, Girish, that this double engine Sarkar has not benefited Maharashtra.
Correct.
In the 10 years when there was stability at least. So what do we look forward to? And you laughed when I read out $1 trillion economy promise.
So the first thing Devendra will have to do is to send out a message to state, and which is like getting a serious investment in the state. Foxconn, before it went, the issue became public, Devendra was working at least, for 3 months, he was behind the project. And by the time he could succeed, the change of government happened and all sorts of things. And eventually it went to Gujarat and it landed somewhere in Tamil Nadu, not the Vedanta Foxconn.
Yeah, I get it.
So now issue is that the man was working for a brilliant, 2 projects Devendra was aiming for, First was Nanar Refinery. Aramco in association with Indian oil giants, PSUs, one of the largest refinery Maharashtra would have had. So because of Shiv Sena's opposition, he gave up. Because of Shiv Sena's opposition, he failed in encashing or pushing for the Vadhavan port, which will be the biggest port in India if it comes out. See, Mumbai-ness is because of Mumbai port. And Mumbai port is dead now. So Mumbai needs something more than that. So Vadhavan would have been ideal. And fortunately, it is still in the PSUs, it's not with any
private entity.
Private entity. So it would have been a great success story on his side. He failed in delivering or getting those investments out. Now he will have to show that he means business. He will have to show there is a large investment, because Maharashtra is surviving on a service economy and basically thanks to Mumbai. So it is not working. On other side, he will have to ensure that the crop from the region he comes from, like Marathwada, Vidarbha and all that, the soya bean thing. See, I mean, 6,500 is the cost farmers are incurring per acre, and government is offering something like 4,000, 4,500. So on that front also, he will have to ensure, because this is the issue, parliament elections actually, yeah.
If the political pressures are under control, in Devendra Fadnavis, do we have a chief minister who at least will be able to understand what he has to deliver and then be able to act on it?
Yeah.
So he's a capable man in that sense. He's a capable politician in that sense.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. See, like Prithviraj Chavan, one of the most capable chief ministers Maharashtra has ever had. The problem was within the party. So similarly, if Devendra is given free hand in delivering what he should be, he has everything that requires for a good chief minister, and understands social issues, understand the economy part of it, understands infra, and the most important, agriculture. So I think there is everything that should work in favor of Devendra, provided internal and external social issues he handles carefully.
Will we see stability in the next 5 years? Because I feel that, in whatever manner this verdict was engineered, it is a verdict and it is a certain kind of mandate. We saw in the last 5 years a complete mess, and fragmentation of Maharashtra's political parties and even culture. Do you see that, at least that change? May not be a better culture, but at least a less fragmented, less anything goes kind of scenario?
See, what was the biggest challenge Maharashtra's industrialization had? It's not said upfront, but let's discuss honestly. The biggest challenge, because of this factionalism and so many parties coming out, was extortion, industrial extortion. Investment in Maharashtra became extraordinarily expensive because you have to grease many palms. Till now, the case was, if project is cleared from Mantralaya at the chief minister's level, it used to get smoothly executed. That's no longer. Because of so many things, and because of encouraging so many political parties, that changed. So Devendra will have to ensure that basically industrial environment is safer in Maharashtra. There are some archaic laws. Can you believe there is an act called Mathadi Act? Mathadi Act is something like for
load bearer.
Load bearers, yeah.
Head load bearer,
That act, even today, Devendra tried in his first chief ministership. He couldn't do that because of political pressure. That act is applicable even today in IT sector. Can you believe that? IT parks will have to, they are made to follow this law. There is nothing to be carried on head in IT sector.
He has a challenge, but he can live up to meeting that challenge in your analysis.
Yeah, if there is any one person in the Saffron Alliance who could do that, I'll bet on Devendra Fadnavis.
Okay. Girish, I can keep talking to you forever because there is so much detail that you bring besides your perspective, the historical detail, the ground level details, and of course, your experience and perspective. I think we'll close the conversation today, but with one final question, and that is, a lot of allegations are being made of electoral fraud, different kinds. I won't go into them because that's a full discussion in itself. But are you concerned enough to take them very seriously? And what is the way forward with these allegations? Because we are reading about it, but should we believe it, or should we go ahead with this victory that is given to us? How do you, as the editor, what would you advise?
See, honestly speaking, I am still, as of now, not ready to believe that EVM can be manipulated. There are good bureaucrats, friends of mine, who keep telling me this is just impossible. But having said that, the issue also is the size of votes polled in certain areas. It doesn't match the pattern. I mean, statistics. I mean, if I am an average student and throughout the year in every exam I am getting 40-50%, I can't have the last exam cleared with 99%. It raises doubts about the system, and I think to address this issue once and for all, election commission or those powers that we should take initiative and throwing a challenge. These are the electoral machines available. Take them and prove that those can be manipulated. This is the only way, because certain numbers are, I'll not say doubtful, but not beyond doubt. We can say about.
And by that, do you mean also this issue of, the votes counted and the, the turnout versus the votes polled? Like there seems to be some discrepancy in that
There is
in
discrepancy.
many places.
Yeah, there is discrepancy, and to put it, how to put it mildly, I'm just thinking of election.
No, not put
commission.
it mildly, put it bluntly. Please don't put it mildly.
Election commission's behavior doesn't instill any faith
Sure.
in the system, So that's how these all issues are being raised and getting traction amongst people. Even the saner person believes that there might be some gadbada, because there was no way that nobody thought of this kind of verdict. Even the BJP leaders were taken aback by the size of the mandate. So it's basically raising or having doubt about the system. That's not healthy for the democracy.
We've got this government, we've got Devendra Fadnavis as our chief minister, it seems, and we hope that we have a better Maharashtra. That is all we can hope for at this point of time. But we will watch, we will read, and we will look forward to more conversations with you. We'll keep talking, Girish. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.